For years, Jay Brown has been one of the most familiar faces in Albert Square. Viewers have watched him grow from a troubled teenager into a central figure of EastEnders, navigating heartbreak, tragedy, and betrayal along the way. But now, his story seems to be reaching an unexpected and abrupt ending, one that isn't being driven by the scriptwriters but by real-life controversy surrounding the actor behind the character. In a recent episode that aired on BBC iPlayer before its scheduled TV broadcast, eagle-eyed fans noticed something odd. Lauren, who was chatting with Peter, casually explained that she was holding down the car dealership alone because Jay had to leave Walford. The reason? His grandfather had fallen ill, and he needed to go be with him. On paper, it sounded innocent, even routine. Characters come and go from Albert Square all the time. But what many viewers didn't realize in that moment was that this single line was EastEnders' way of addressing a much larger problem: actor Jamie Borthwick's suspension from the show. The behind-the-scenes story is far less simple. Back in 2024, during rehearsals for Strictly Come Dancing, a video was recorded that would eventually come back to haunt him. In that clip, Borthwick was heard using an ableist slur while joking about the people of Blackpool. For months, the footage went largely unnoticed. But when it resurfaced earlier this year, the reaction was swift and unforgiving. In an age where accountability matters more than ever, the BBC couldn't ignore what had been said. The broadcaster released a blunt statement condemning the language, calling it entirely unacceptable and stressing that it didn't reflect the values or standards the network expects from its talent. EastEnders is one of the BBC's flagship shows, and having a scandal tied to one of its stars put the corporation in a difficult position. The result was immediate. Borthwick was suspended in June, forcing the writers to come up with a quick, believable reason for Jay's sudden absence from the square. But suspension wasn't the end of it. After weeks of speculation about whether Borthwick would return, the BBC finally confirmed in September that his time on EastEnders was over. In their official announcement, BBC Studios chose their words carefully, stating only that he will not be returning to EastEnders, while refusing to comment on the details. The message was clear, though this wasn't a temporary situation. One of Walford's longest-running characters had just been cut for good. For his part, Jamie didn't stay silent. In June, shortly after the suspension, he issued a public apology through The Sun on Sunday. His statement admitted fault, with him saying he hadn't fully understood the term he used at the time, but now realized how harmful it was. He described himself as embarrassed, deeply regretful, and eager to make it clear that the slur didn't represent his true views. "That's on me completely," he admitted, while stressing that he had been caught up in the excitement of the moment when the video was filmed. Still, apologies weren't enough to undo the damage. In today's media climate, a single mistake can overshadow years of hard work, and unfortunately for Borthwick, that's exactly what happened. For fans, this development has been bittersweet. Jay Brown wasn't just another character. He was introduced all the way back in 2006 as the foster son of Billy Mitchell, and quickly became a key player in countless storylines. Over the years, he dealt with the devastating death of his father, Jace, at the hands of gangsters. He struggled with the trauma of losing his partner, Lola, in one of the show's most heartbreaking storylines. And he built complicated, layered relationships with characters like Phil Mitchell, Ben Mitchell, and Honey Edwards. Viewers invested in his journey because it felt real. Jay was flawed, vulnerable, but ultimately resilient. Watching him mature from a reckless teen into a more grounded adult gave audiences a sense of continuity that few characters managed to achieve in a soap. That's why his quiet exit, explained away with a single line of dialogue, has left so many people unsatisfied. For a character who's been part of Walford for nearly 2 decades, it feels anticlimactic. Many fans are now asking the same question: how will EastEnders handle Jay's departure permanently? Will they give him the big exit he deserves? Or will the controversy off-screen force the writers to let his story fizzle out without proper closure? Soap operas often face these challenges when real-life issues impact actors, but EastEnders has a history of bold exits. Sometimes characters are killed off dramatically, sometimes they leave quietly, only to return years later. But with the BBC confirming that Borthwick will not be coming back, it seems unlikely that Jay will get the chance to reappear. That raises the possibility that the show may write him out permanently in an upcoming episode, perhaps even off-screen, leaving fans to imagine what became of him. The situation also highlights just how quickly things can change in the entertainment world. One moment, Jamie Borthwick was a long-standing member of the EastEnders family, an actor who had grown up on screen in front of millions. The next, he was suspended, then axed, with his future on British television suddenly uncertain. His apology showed remorse, but it also revealed how even unintended remarks can carry enormous weight when placed under public scrutiny. Now, fans are left with mixed emotions. Some feel sympathy for Jamie, believing he made a mistake but deserved a second chance after nearly 2 decades of dedication to the show. Others Others argue that the BBC was right to take a hard stance, pointing out that accountability matters, especially for public figures. Either way, Jay's absence will leave a noticeable gap in Walford, and longtime viewers will no doubt feel the impact. As the show moves forward, all eyes will be on how the writers choose to close this chapter. Will Jay's story end with him permanently caring for his sick grandfather? Will there be a more dramatic twist in the coming weeks? Or will the characters simply fade into the background, never to be mentioned again? Whatever the decision, this marks the end of an era for EastEnders, and the beginning of an uncertain future for Jamie Borthwick. What's clear is that Jay Brown's exit isn't just another soap opera plot twist, it's a reminder of how blurred the line between fiction and reality can become. For nearly 20 years, fans thought they knew where Jay's story was headed, but now, it's real life that has dictated his fate.